Because nobody's like you.
I'm going to introduce the first step by sharing another story. This is actually another lunch that I was having with two friends not too long ago. I hadn't gotten together with them in years, and we had a really good time and some fantastic food. And towards the end of our lunch, one of the women who was sitting across the table from the other two of us said that she wanted our advice. And she shared a scenario which, to respect her privacy, I'll be fairly general about it, but I think it's fine to share that this is a woman who has always been called to the ministry in some way, shape, or form. It's been true about her ever since I've known her. She was very actively involved in her church at the time, and she was making steps to do the groundwork for becoming a priest. And there had been some conversations and some steps that had taken place that had led her to cause whether or not that particular avenue towards the ministry was the right one for her. And she had been looking at all kinds of different options and different ways that she could go, and she was feeling some confusion and just wasn't quite sure how to proceed. So she laid out the whole background, the whole history, what some of her options were for how to move forward with this dream of hers of ministering in some way, and she asked what we thought. Well, when I heard her story, it was very clear to me that there were at least two people involved, and probably three, that she needed to have a conversation with. There was some confusion, there was probably some miscommunication, and she didn't have all of the information that she needed to make an informed, authentic decision. And she had asked for my opinion, so that's what I told her. I think you really need to have a conversation with this person, and probably this person too. And that led to a slight uncomfortable silence around the table. And the reason for this is it's difficult for all of us to broach conversations like this, especially when there's some element of conflict involved. We tend to be conflict avoidant. We don't want to hurt other people's feelings. We don't know how to word it. And after that bit of that uncomfortable silence, the friend sitting next to me spoke up. And she said, recently I had something very similar happen. And she goes, normally my initial knee-jerk gut reaction is to just withdraw and avoid. I do not like having conversations like this. She said, but the other party involved, it was someone that she'd had a creative collaboration with and become very good friends with for over 12 years. And she said, after 12 years of this kind of amazing creative collaboration and this close friendship, I decided I just had to take the risk to open up the lines of communication, no matter how uncomfortable and scary it was for me. And in her situation, this conversation actually brought the two of them closer. And that very often is what happens when you take the steps to have that difficult, uncomfortable, scary conversation. And see, this is the thing about it. And I really believe this is true from the bottom of my heart. The more you withdraw, the more you avoid, that conflict is still there. Because every single time you think about that person, you're going to remember how you feel about this, whatever this situation is, and you're going to carry it with you in the feelings that you have. It's not going to go away. No matter if it's a real close person to you or someone who's just an acquaintance, it's just easier to have the conversation. And the thing is, once you have the tools, the compassionate communication tools to be able to make this conversation easier, you're just going to feel a whole lot better. So with that, the very first step to speaking your authentic truth is to refrain from reacting when you are angry or upset. I have done this so many times. Who hasn't? We all have. It's just a part of human nature. You get mad and you say something that you later regret. Now, I am willing to bet that the large majority of regrets are caused by things that weren't done or weren't said. But very close on the heels behind that are things that were said or done in anger, in frustration. And so this is what I recommend. At that moment that anger hits, and you're tempted to say something, you're tempted to spout off, don't. Leave the room, go for a walk, and I'm a big fan of journaling. And Barbara Stanny recommends what she calls anger letters, and they're a very good idea. If you're really mad at somebody about something and you know you need to say something, don't do it right then. Sit down and start writing this anger letter. Dear so-and-so, I'm really mad at you because, and keep going until you are done, until you have written every single thing that you're mad about and you're depleted. And then set it aside for a day, come back, pick it up again, and see if there's anything more to add. And if there is more to add it. Set it aside for another day, pick it up again, look at it, see if there's more to add, and keep going like this until you're done. Until you can look at it the following day and say, nope, that's all, I'm done, and you're gonna notice that you're not feeling angry anymore. And that's the point where you can rip up the letter, you can burn it, you can do whatever you want to do with it, and you can decide whether or not you need to have a conversation with that person, and you can proceed with that conversation in a compassionate and non-angry manner.
Because nobody's like you.